Hi, welcome to Happy Tales. I'm Cheryl Rosenthal, Communications and Education Coordinator here at the Oshkosh Area Humane Society, and
I'm Joni Geiger, the Executive Director.
And today our show is going to be all about rescue groups and how rescue groups and humane societies work together, and to give you a little bit more information as to what exactly a rescue group is.
Sure. A lot of people don't understand what a rescue group is or what they do. Sometimes when we're discussing with people here at the shelter, they don't even know what it is. So I think we're here to kind of share some of that information and obviously clear up some of the mysteries attached to rescues. So we have a young lady here who is obviously going to be our guest today, and she has been working with a rescue for quite some time. So maybe you'd like to introduce her, Cheryl.
Well, with us today is Deborah Skoronsky, and she is with LASA?
American Lhasa Apso Club Rescue Network.
Okay, and tell us about the rescue.
Well, it's a 501c3 nonprofit network of regional rescues. In our case, it's the Midwest region, and we do what all rescues do. We focus on a specific breed, and we try and find as many homes as we can for homeless dogs.
Okay. What's the advantage of zeroing in on a specific breed?
Well, a lot of people, you know, when they're looking to get a dog, do have an interest in a specific breed. And what's nice about breed rescues is that they have a lot of knowledge about a specific breed, and they're able to, if someone is interested, they may not know much about a breed, but they've heard about it and they're very interested. And so they can inform people and let them know about their temperaments and characteristics and whether they'd be a good fit for their family.
There's no question that breeds, purebred breeds, have very specific characteristics. Now, granted, they don't always run true, but I think there's some generalizations that are probably pretty accurate regarding that. Not only just from behavioral, but maybe from a possible medical challenges, those types of things. So
right.
Would you agree that that's also true with
That
Lhasa?
is true, and Lhasas generally, for example, do not do well with small children, toddlers. For example, they were bred to be guard dogs, and so they have a guard dog mentality. So although they're cute and cuddly and fuzzy looking, and are very loyal to their owners, they are also very independent. And some people, when they see them as cute, fuzzy little puppies, they don't really understand the kind of difficulties that you can encounter with Lhasa Apsos if you don't train them appropriately.
Sure. And I think all breeds have challenges.
Correct.
There's no question about that. So.
And so the rescue groups can focus on, what is the best placement, who are the people that should own this particular breed of dog, whether it be a Dalmatian, an Irish Setter, a Lhasa Apso, or any breed of dog.
Right,
So
exactly.
That is an advantage.
Okay. Now, do you have a shelter? What kind of? Are these like homes that you keep them in homes? Or?
Right. I think that's one distinguishing characteristic of a rescue versus a shelter. All of the dogs are in foster homes. We don't have like a building that we can keep dogs in. It's all volunteer run, and we can save as many dogs as we have foster homes for the dogs. So.
Well, there's some real advantages to that. Using a foster home, obviously you get a up-close personality. You understand, certain things that maybe that particular dog, the characteristics that particular dog has. If there's some house training issues, those are things that you can be working on while it's in the home. So, that's pretty cool.
That's very important because a lot of people, when they come and are looking for another dog to add to their family, they have other dogs or cats, and we can tell them whether they get along well with other dogs or whether they get along well with cats, or some of those some of the quirks that they may have. We really get to know a dog, and that enables us to make the best match possible.
And smaller dogs usually don't do as well in shelters.
That is true. They tend to be, obviously there's a lot of noise and barking and things, and small dogs tend to be a little bit more frightened in shelters, and so when people come to see them, they don't necessarily, they may not, as they show well.
Right.
So they may do one of two things. They may either be really barky and put the person off that way, or they may be so scared that they hide in their crate or back in the kennel. So people are not getting a true view of what the personality or what the possibility is of these little dogs.
That's right.
Well, I think, Cheryl, that you and I can both agree that, over the number of years that we've worked here, that there are very specific breeds or very specific purebreds that sometimes just really, like you said,
Don't
they crash and burn in a shelter.
Right.
Their ability to be able to handle the chaos sometimes and the anxiety that
Right.
develops here is pretty hard.
And I think over the years, our shelter in particular, we have come a long way with how we deal with those stresses that dogs encounter because we have our enrichment programs now. But again, I've noticed over the years that when we have smaller dogs, that they seem to sometimes have a harder time. And the enrichment programs, such as the treats and the extra chewies and the walk times and the play times, all those things help to
Because I think
help them settle.
we'd all agree that obviously a home environment is really the best testing ground
Right.
to find out, you know, the accuracy of a dog's personality. But unfortunately, shelters are at a disadvantage that way. We have to rely very heavily on history, you know, from the previous owner, if there is some, and then obviously on a lot of our temperament testing or personality testing that we do here.
So my question I have for you, Debbie, is do you get most of your dogs from humane societies or animal shelters, or do you get them from owners?
All of the above. I mean, the dogs come to us for a variety of different reasons and from a variety of different places. Many times we get them from overburdened shelters. They just don't have enough space. Sometimes, again, they're not showing well in a shelter because they're scared. We get them from owners who, for some reason, cannot keep them any longer. Everything from health issues to lifestyle changes, a new baby, retirement and traveling.
Allergies?
Allergies. There's so many different reasons that we get these little dogs. In fact, one dog I got because they were losing their home in the mortgage crisis and they had to give up their dog.
Yeah.
So, you know, there's just like shelters. There's a variety of different reasons why they come in. Into
We see the same
rescue.
thing, obviously. So, you know, there are a number of reasons why they come into you. So, like, you know, how do they match them up? How do they, you know, is like, do you have space? Do they just call you? How does it work for you personally?
Generally, people find us through website searches or through word of mouth or through they'll ask their local shelter, and most of the time shelters are aware of the rescues that are out there. Most of the time, not all the time, but a good majority of shelters are aware of the rescue groups that are out there, and if they can't take them there, or if there's a reason why they wouldn't do well in shelter, they'll refer them to us. Sometimes owners just don't want to go to a shelter. They'd rather have them go to a home, you know, that they feel better about that, or they just feel they're more likely to get rehomed if they go into a rescue.
So if I'm looking for a dog, and you have a foster dog at your home, how do I connect with you? Does it go through a main person that's in charge of your rescue, and then they interview me and say, oh, I think we have a foster dog at so-and-so's house or at so-and-so's house, or do they just let me go to every single foster home and look at dogs?
No, actually, we do have a process, and you know, every rescue has a different process, although I think generally they're the same. There is a contact person. They make contact. They fill out an application. That's the first thing we ask people to do, is fill out an application. And the applications are very comprehensive, and that sometimes puts people off. They don't understand why we're asking all of these questions, but it's because so many of the dogs that we get into rescue have been abused or neglected, and we just want to make sure that their new home is a forever home, that they're not going to come back to us, although, you know, we obviously will take them back if necessary, but we don't want that to happen. So our process is very comprehensive, very thorough.
So just like we do here, we're trying to make good matches, forever matches. You're trying to do the same thing. So your application may be a little bit more in-depth or a little bit more detailed.
Right, and you know, we do things like home visits because we're able to. You know, it's hard for a lot of humane society shelters. They may not have the staff or volunteer power to do home visits. It may just not be possible, but we do home visits. You know, people can say a lot of things on an application, and again, we just want to make sure that the dogs are going, that they're not going to end up in a similar situation from where they came from originally.
Well,
so.